Hello everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to a new tutorial. My name is Bilikis. If this is your first time, please make sure you subscribe and tap on the notification bell to get notified each time we put up a video. So in today's class, we'll be making a bustier gathered dress with a circular sleeve, okay? And trust me, it's going to be beautiful. I'm making it for a client and I decided to show you how I'm going to go about it. First, I have 6 yards of Ankara fabric here, and then lining, I'll be lining the upper part, but the lower part is full enough, a matching zipper. So quickly, for the lower part, I'm going to make it 43 because the length of the dress is 60 inches. So from the nape to the waist is 17 inches. So when you deduct 17 from 60, you'll be left with 63. So for that gathered part, I'll be making use of 3 yards. 3 yards is just perfect, okay? So from this 6 yards, I'm going to cut out 3 yards of fabric that we'll use for the lower part. So let me quickly do that. I've cut out 3 yards of fabric, so I folded into 2, okay? 3 yards of fabric into 2. So after doing that, the next thing now is to divide these 3 yards into 2. The reason why is that there's going to be a pocket by the side, so there's going to be a slit, and remember there's going to also be a zipper by the side. So we have to have 3, 1 for the front and 2 for the back, okay? So all I did is to fold the 3 yards into 2 equal parts, and then I now make sure one is like 2 inches more than the front. The reason is that will be for the zipper at the back, the 1 inch on both sides for the zipper. So looking at it, you can see I have 2 inches difference, but all others are equal. The next thing is to now separate it. So after slitting it now, so I have like 1.5 here. So the shorter one will be for the front. So all I have to do now is to gather it up to half of around the waist measurement. For the back, the remaining one that is 2 inches more, I'm now going to fold it into 2 equal parts again, 2 equal parts this way, and then I will slit it up. So I've cut it up now, so I have 2 for the back. Can you see? So here, the length of this skirt we want to make, remember it is 43, and the length of the Ankara fabric is 45. So all I'm going to do is to just leave it this way. So here you can see it's 45. So I can trim off the selvage or just leave it. So I'll be folding in 1.5 at the lower parts, okay? And then also the remaining one will be to attach to the main fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to gather each one to the waist measurement. I have gathered the skirts. This is for the front parts. And the front, that is, the waist is 39 divided by 2, that should be 19.5, plus 1 inch by the side, that will be 20.5. So here I have 20.5. So 20.5 is what I have here. Then now for the back, you know that is 2 pieces. So I gathered 1, so that is divided by 4. That one should be 9 3/4. So plus 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side, that makes it 11 3/4. So the back should be 11 3/4. So can you see? So that is it. I'm now going to match up right side facing each other. So this is the front, the back, the back. I'll now go ahead and sew this side straight down. It's going to have a side pocket. I have a video on that, which I'll put the link in the description box below. So I'm going to sew this straight down and also come to this side straight down and fix the pocket. Then here at the back, I'm going to leave about 10 inches or 9 inches for the zipper and then sew it all down too to form the skirts. Now, the length of the bodice is 17 inches, as I've told you earlier on. So looking at it from the start point to this point, I have 17.5, because half an inch will be used to attach to the skirts. Another measurement you will need, the vertical measurement. First, you will need the armhole. The armhole for her is 9 inches. You divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5. So 9 inches, then the next one is the bust point, from the nape to the bust point. For her, it is 11 inches. Then going to her under bust, 14.5. So those measurements are vital. After doing that, you now come to the starting point and mark the 3 inches, 8 inches standard. 3 inches first, then you measure 8 inches and mark. From the 8 inches, you come down by 1 inch. Then you create the slope. I would advise you to watch my video on how to make a basic bodice pattern. Good. For the armhole, our shoulder measurement is 16. So 16 divided by 2, that will give you 8. Then plus half an inch for the armhole measurement, that will make it 8.5. So just measure 8.5. Come to the armhole 8.5. So that is the armhole there. The next thing is, for the armhole curve, come up by 2.5 inches. So because this is a bustier and there's going to be a lot of tightening, just come in by half an inch and create your armhole. So in creating your armhole, you might need to put in your bust circumference. Her bust circumference is 44, but I'll be making it 45. So divided by 4 will give me 11.25. That's 11.25. So I'm just going to mark that here. You're still going to add seam allowance, but so the armhole is formed. The next thing now is the bust span, that is the distance from one nipple to the other. For her, it is 9 inches. So divided by 2 will be 4.5. Okay. If you want to have seam allowance of that, you make it 5. But I'm just going to add it by the time I cut it. So I'm going to use the exact 4.5 for her. Mark it on the bust point line. Come to the end of the waist and mark it also. And then create a line there. Good. The next thing you want to do now is, we have marked the bust, which is 11.25. Now the waist, our waist is 39 inches. So when I divide that 39 inches by 4, it's going to give me 9.75, that is 9.75. I'm just going to measure that. We are still going to take that, but don't worry. So with just my pencil, I will just connect that. For us to take the darts at the under bust and the waist. So the first thing I will do is to come in by half an inch or 3/4 on this side. You can do that. So here, let's just do half. She's not so busty, but if someone that is busty, you can do 3/4 here, then 1.5 here. So, but for her, I'll take a total dart of 2 inches. Let's say for myself, I'll take up to 2.5 because I'm more bustier. So I'll do 3/4 here and then the rest here. So 2 inches from the half an inch, 2 inches to, then make a straight line. To form the curve. Here you can use your straighter part of the curve. So you can come down like 1 inch. So you blend it in. See? So that is the curve. First, you want to determine how low you want your neckline to be. But on the average, you should just do like 6 inches, 6.5 is fine, okay? Because she's elderly, I will want to maintain that 6 inches. But for me, I can do up to like 7. But 6 inches is okay. So I'll just mark that and use my pencil to mark a straight line. So that is the neckline. So the next thing you want to do is to extend this line upward. So I'll just come here and mark this same 4.5 for the bust span. Good. So for the dart here at the upper part, I'm going to take half an inch. I can just maintain half an inch or 3/4 and then take 1.25 here. 1.25. So 1.25 on this side, then half an inch here, maybe for me 1 1/4, then 3/4. Okay, so connect. And here I'll just use the straighter part of the curve to curve it out nicely. So I'm just going to blend it in with the curve ruler so you can see what we have. You can measure from here 5 inches, then you turn it to this other way, so we have the same thing. The next thing is you can just maintain this neckline if you want it, but I'll just come down by half an inch and then just blend it up this way. So you can go down more, but I'm making for an elderly person, so I don't want something that is so low. So that's the neckline. So for this other side, you just, or you can close it and then decide how you want to make it. So this is it. I've already formed this, so you can just make this just a little bit straight. So it will come down, however, I think it's okay like this. So this is the neckline. So for this part, you can decide to attach it or separate it. It depends on your preference. So for that, let me see what I have left here. So here I have 2 1/2 inches. So that is okay for the band to hold that. So 2 1/2 inches, I'll come up here 2 1/2 and then connect straight down. Or just connect from that 2 1/2 inches to the end of the dart. So that is done. So the next thing we want to do now is to return all these darts that we are taking off. Okay. So now the dart is going off. So all these darts we have taken, we have to return it back. You know it was the exact measurement that we kept here. So now let us add everything back. So at the waist, I took 2 inches of darts. So I'm going to add that back. 2 inches. Then I will add extra 1 inch for the side seam allowance. So the first 2 inches is these darts that we took out. So now to the armhole region. Measure whatever you have here. Here I have 3/4 of an inch or 0.75. I'm going to add it back to this point. Okay. Then the 1 inch side seam allowance. And then I'm going to rule it. So in case you want to also add, because here after cutting out we need half an inch on both sides to join it together. Since I'm using a paper, I'm just going to add it on the fabric. But if you want to add it to the paper, add extra 1 inch for this here. So well understood. I won't be adding seam allowance here. That's because this part is going to be on fold. We are cutting it straight. But there's one thing you need to do on the neckline. You need to contour it or else it will gape. That's why you see some outfits, this will be falling off your shoulder. Okay? So, and how do you do it? It's very simple. Just create a dart. You can do that anyhow. Create a dart here. Just 1/4 of an inch, or if you can even do up to half an inch on both sides. Trust me. It will just make it stick so well. So just 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, then you close it up. Can you see? So fine, it will look as if it's not, don't worry about it, just close it up. And also here, I'll still come and just take in 1/4 of an inch, just 1/4 of an inch here. And then trim it off. I'm just going to close this up. So you can close it anywhere. Doesn't mean it has to be in the middle or whatsoever. Anywhere that is convenient for you. So just close it up. And see, then you redraw the line. But since you close it, it will move. So now this is the line. This also just correct it up So that's it. Then we can cut out. I've told you this is going to be on fold. That's if you are cutting in or tough. But if you want it together, just add half an inch seam allowance there. And then remember, I did not add the half an inch for this part. So right, add half inch, add half inch. So here at the upper part, if you are separating this, add half an inch, add half an inch. But if you are not separating, you don't need it here. So now let's cut it out. This is it for the front, and then we cut this. That's if you want it separated. If you don't want it separated, you will not cut it. For the back, I just did the same thing. Remember, the nape to the waist is 17.5 as we did initially. Then I added 1 inch for the zipper allowance. Zip allowance, okay? Then for the slope, I did the 3 inches, 8 inches standard before. I now marked 8.5 inches. The armhole is just the same way, just that the back, you won't come inside, just connect straight to this point. So that's easy. So the next thing for the dart is to use the same 4.5. Remember the bust span is 9, 4.5 here, 4.5 here. Okay. After that, I took half an inch on both sides and then connect with about 1 inch downward. So that is that. So the next thing you want to do now is to insert the waist circumference. Remember, it is 39 divided by 4, which will be 9 3/4. Now we took a dart of 1 inch, so that will make it what? 10 3/4 or 10.75. Note that 10 3/4. Then another thing we need to do at the back is to contour the back. So we go in by half an inch. This is the allowance, this is the actual line. So you go in by half an inch. Okay. Then you connect straight to this point. So it helps you not to have zip bulge. Can you see? So this is going off. And another thing I want you to notice is that the back, I reduced it to 16.5. The actual measurement was 17.5. I now came up by 1 inch. I reduced it because there's bust in the front. At the back, there's no bust. So you should reduce it. All this will not help you have Z bulge. Come up by 1 inch and then half an inch inward here. So now let us put our waist measurement, which is 10 3/4. That will be after this half an inch we came out by. So 10 3/4 is here. So that is the measurement. The bustier is 11 1/4. You already know that. So now, since we are going in here and we've already added 1 inch zipper allowance, so that means you now measure from this actual place. 1 inch is here. So I'll now have to redraw it. Can you see? So it's going this way. Now for the neckline, all I will do is this. For the neckline we use in front, it is 2.5. So I'll come to the shoulder level here, 2.5, which is here. Then at this point, the 2.5 inches point here. So you can do the 2.5, yes, or 3. However, so at that point you come in also 2.5, which is here. Draw a straight line. So now for the neckline, I'll just take it as low as the zipper here, which is 9 inches, or you could just make it 8.5, depending on what your clients want. Okay, and then I'm going to redraw. So now I'm going to just use the straighter part of the curve, or just trace ruler. So that is the neckline. So if you are not separating it, you just cut it out like this. But if you are separating it, just so you separate this. So I've cut this, the zipper region. Let me see the waist, the neckline, and this. So this is what I have. So this is it, and also I have contoured this part, so I will draw it. So I'm going with the formal one. I'll go with this. So this will be straight. So here too, I'm going to cut off that 1/4 inch just as I did for the front. Let's take this down. So now let me cut this off. So we have it separated in this. So this is what it looks like. So this now we can now merge it up to have it straight. Remember, the back is 1 inch shorter than the front. This is the armhole line coming here. So it also have to affect the front. These are the side which has to match. So the 1 inch we came up by, come to the side of the front, mark the 1 inch, and then you connect it straight to this angle and trim off. So with that, you won't have any zipper bulge whatsoever. So this is what you are going to have. So this is the side, this is the zipper region. So you see the side will now match up. Can you see? I've cut out all the panels. So looking at it, starting from this side, so looking at it, I just had 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, just as we've explained. So this is what it looks like. So you cut 2 for each side. So this is it. I will explain the interfacing I used, and I cut the lining the same way. So now for this also, I placed it here on fold. This has to be on fold, and then have the seam allowance. So this is what it looks like, the lining the same way. So looking at it, this is what I have. So how did I go about it? Because she's an elderly person and she's going to put on bra, so I didn't really pad it. So I made use of this interfacing I have here. So this is the lightest one, called the paper stay, and this one is popularly called the normal gum stay. So this one is thicker than this very paper stay. So I use this just to like pad it up. That's the thicker one you are seeing under. So I just started from the under bust and stop at 1/2 inch above, and here I went in about 6 inches. After that, I now use this lightest one to just make it stable. Okay, I glue it to it all through. So with this, it still stays stable. By the time I sew it up, it's still going to be structured. Okay, so this is what it looks like. All I have to do now is to join it by 1/2 inch. You start from the lower part, making sure the under bust matches 1/2 inch up, also to this side, and you sew the lining the same way. And then I'm going to put a video on how to pad your bustier. I already have 2 videos on that, which I will put up in the on the screen at the end of the video, and also in the description box below. Haven't done that. Now this is the back. I cut that out the same way. I only added seam allowance to the upper parts. Remember, there is that. So for that too, I only use the paper stay, the lightest one, just to enhance it and make it stable. So you cut out the lining the same way. The next thing I'm going to do for the back is to sew in the darts. So with the pattern, I can trace the darts, sew the dart in, and then just sew up the dart on the lining too. For the strap, so all I did is to just join it together. Okay, or you just measure. So for the front, or you join it together, as you can see. So if you measure it, that is about 10 inches or 10 1/4. Okay, so just fold the fabric and cut 10 1/4 plus 1/2 inch on both sides. That should be 11 1/4 inches for it. So you just cut it straight. So that's what I did, straight. Since the wideness is 2 1/2, so I made sure this is 2 1/2 too. Okay, 2 1/2 with 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides. I enhanced this with paper stay just to make it stable, which is optional. Okay, so I've sewn it up, and this is how beautiful it is. Can you see? Even on the inside. So make sure you iron your seam line. Make sure you open it up. You can see what I did to the lining too. I will make sure I open up the seam before turning it to the right side, and it's just going to come out so beautiful. So the next thing we are going to do now is to fix these straps. So make sure right side are facing each other, and this is it for the back. I have taken in the darts, so both on the lining and the main fabric. So to fix up the strap, so all you have to do is this. So take the strap. This open part is going to be towards the armhole. So place it this way. Can you see? And then you are going to sandwich it. So you put it this way, the lining on it, and tack it down. Okay, you pin it. So you go to this other side too. Note the open part towards the armhole, and then you match it up, close up the lining, and you are going to sew it up 1/2 inch from the beginning to the end. So by the time you bring it out, you have your strap this way. So you are going to do the same thing to the back, and you can see how beautiful it looks. So this is the back. Can you see? Neatly done. Then I made sure I top stitch. Okay, can you see? So on the wrong side, this is what it looks like. So you can see how everything is neatly done. So the next thing you want to do now is to make sure right side are facing each other. You now take the right side together, taking 1 inch because that's what we left. Then the lining too, you take 1 inch. The same thing here, so as to become one. So guys, I have sewn it by the side, and this is how beautiful it looks. So you can see on the inside how everything is just well laid and ironed. Okay, so now for the skirts, which I've explained earlier, have joined it by the side. The pocket is there. I already have a video on that. I'll put it in the description box below. So, and I've also closed. This is the back. So this is the opening, the back. So I've closed it only to leave the zipper region open. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, if you want a lining, you can add to it, but this is full enough than to have a lining again. So what I will do now is to make sure right side are facing each other this way, and I'm going to join it by the waist. Okay, so I'll join by the waist from here straight down to the other side. I've joined the top to the skirt, and you can see how beautiful it looks. So beautiful. Can you see? It's just so beautiful. And the back. This is the back. I fixed the zipper, make sure all the lines at the waist matches. So this is what it looks like on the inside, well overlocked, and even the zipper region. So the last thing we are going to do now before we cut out the sleeve is to measure the armhole. So just take the armhole, match it up, and measure. So here I have 9.5. So 9.5 times 2, so that will give me 19 inches. The circular sleeve already. I already have a detailed video on the trick to cut out this circular sleeve. Okay, so I will put, that will be the video on the screen at the end of this video. Others will be in the description box below. Okay, so this is it with the lining. So I've sewn this very one, so you can see how neat it is. So that is how to sew it up. Let me just show you and see. So you can see the trick of having this full circular sleeve, so that you won't have this place short and this place long. So please watch the video, you will enjoy the video. All the tactics and everything is there. So I'm going to attach this to the dress and show you the final look. The dress is ready, and you can see how beautiful it is. Right from the bustier, the sleeve, everything is just right where it should be. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? See that? If this tutorial has been helpful, please make sure you give me a giant thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.